Internet. My name is Tyler Cutterback. I'm the founder of Let's Go to College Educational Consultants and the host of the How Do I Get That Job podcast. And today, we're going to be understanding your financial aid packet. It's that time of year again, the time when colleges and universities across the country send out their financial aid packets. You may have seen terms like Pell Grant, Stafford Loan, Presidential Scholarship, and a lot more. You want to understand what it all means. Perhaps you are an underclassman or the parent of one, and you're just trying to get ahead of the game because you see how confused all of your friends are right now. In either case, I'm here to give you a guide on how to understand the difference between scholarships, grants, and loans. This guide will give you my personal recommendations on how to pay for college as well. Before we get started, I want to say thank you to Chatham University for providing a pennant for our background today. It's going to go next to our Slippery Rock pennant and a few others that have already been donated and will be featured in future videos. If you work for a college or university and you want one of your pennants to be featured in the background, please leave me a comment down in, well, comment land below. And I will make sure to get in contact with you so I can give you my address and we can get that taken care of. Again, thank you, Chatham, thank you, Slippery Rock, and thank you everyone else that has already given me a pennant. Scholarships. Scholarships are money you can use on almost anything. Tuition, room, board, fees, books, gas to get to school, school supplies, and even a new laptop are all valid uses of a scholarship. Typically, the organization offering you a scholarship will not ask for a breakdown of how you spent the money, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. There are two major types of scholarships. There's the traditional scholarship and the institutional scholarship. Traditional scholarships are the type of scholarship that you have to find yourself. These are found from local community-based organizations like the YMCA, your local fire department, you or your parents' job, or by using scholarship search engines like fastweb.com or capex.com. Links to those will be down in the description. These kinds of scholarships do not show up on your financial aid packet because they don't come from the school that's sending you the financial aid packet. Traditional scholarships are usually in the form of a check and are given to you directly by the organization offering you the scholarship. You apply to these scholarships independently, not when you apply to the specific college that you're applying to. Institutional scholarships come from the institution, the college, university, trade school, etc., that you have been accepted to. The thing that sets institutional scholarships apart from traditional scholarships is not necessarily who is giving them to you, but how they're applied to your bill. I mentioned this in another video. Rather than receiving a check that goes into your bank account, institutional scholarships are a discount that is applied to the overall bill of your tuition, room, board, fees, books, all the things that you get from the institution that you're going to. If your total bill is $50,000, just to make the math simple, and you received a presidential scholarship for $25,000, you're not going to receive a check from that school for $25,000 that'll go into your bank account. Rather, you're receiving a 50% discount on your overall bill. For example, if you have been accepted by 5 different schools, each school gives you $10,000 per year per school in scholarships. Don't expect to be making $50,000 every year no matter what college you go to. Each of those 5 schools is saying, if you come to our school, we'll discount your overall bill by $10,000 each year. Unlike traditional scholarships, you will see institutional scholarships on your financial aid packet because they come from the specific institution that is sending you that financial aid packet. There are 2 different types of institutional scholarships. The main type is merit-based, and then you also sometimes get need-based scholarships as well. Merit-based scholarships are based entirely on your merit or your academic performance, specifically your GPA and your standardized test scores, so SATs or ACTs. Nothing else matters. Need-based financial aid, and I say financial aid instead of scholarships because sometimes need-based aid comes in the forms of grants and loans as well, is based on a variety of factors, such as your socioeconomic status, your race or ethnicity, your religion, the vocation that you're going into, or even your parents' vocation. Most schools, although not all, will have their merit-based scholarships housed in, offered by, determined by, taken out of the budget of the admissions office, while their need-based financial aid will be taken out of the financial aid's office. This is sometimes referred to as the separation between church and state. This refers to an effort to keep a school what's called need blind. Need blind means that your ability to get into an institution is not swayed by how much financial aid you're going to need to afford that tuition. As annoying as it may be sometimes to have to make multiple phone calls or go to multiple departments to understand or appeal your financial aid decision, it's done in an effort to protect you and your application from discrimination. Grants. Grants are a lot like scholarships, but with one very important difference. You must use a grant in the way that is dictated by the person or the organization giving you the grant. Sometimes you'll be asked to provide proof of how you spent the money that the grant was given to you for. If you are found to break the rules surrounding the grant, either using the money for something not stipulated by the grant giver, or not delivering on a promise made to get the grant, usually conducting some kind of research, you may be required to give the money back. This can be incredibly difficult to do if you've already spent the money. Grants typically will only cover tuition, room, and board. When you complete the FAFSA free application for federal student aid, you may receive some grants through the government, like the Pell Grant, or through your institution's financial aid office if they have something to offer as well. These typically go directly to the institution that you decide to go to, and you will show up on your financial aid packet. You may also find grants from other organizations much in the same way that you found scholarships. Organizations that offer grants include, but are not limited to, the federal government, corporations, and nonprofit or non-governmental organizations. Loans. Loans are the least favorable in my opinion, but the most available form of financial aid. Loans are the only form of financial aid you have to pay back plus interest. This is true of any type of loan, but student loans are special. Student loans are the only kind of loan that is not dischargeable through bankruptcy. Car loans, mortgages, credit card debt, and more are all reducible or removable through bankruptcy. This is not true of student loans. You have to pay back your student loans no matter what. Can't find a job after school? Too bad, pay your loans. Got fired? Too bad, pay your loans. Company went under and no longer exists? Too bad, pay your loans. Most loan providers will give you a grace period where you do not have to make loan payments. These times are usually following graduation, while you're attending school, or if you pursue a graduate degree like a master's or a PhD. Yet during that time, you'll still be gathering interest. Interest is what makes paying back loans so difficult and take so long. You may have only taken out a loan for $50,000, yet if you do not make any payments during your 4 years of school and then take another 6 years to get a PhD where you don't have to make any loan payments at all, you may find that you now owe the bank for those 4 years upwards of $80,000, almost double. Start making loan payments as early as possible to keep the interest from getting out of hand and making it so that you can't pay back your loans in a timely manner. My personal recommendation, disclaimer, I am not an economist, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not an actuary, a lawyer, or an accountant, so please use your best judgment or consult a professional like I just mentioned before making any financial decisions. A college education is the second largest financial decision anyone will ever make. It's sandwiched between buying a home and getting a car. This is my personal recommendation based on my personal experiences funding my college experience and through counseling others with the same experiences. You want to load yourself with as many scholarships and grants as humanly possible before you ever consider getting a loan. Start as early as possible. I'm not joking. Right now, open another tab and create a free fastweb.com and a free capex.com account. Again, links are in the description below. And start looking for scholarships. Money is money, all right? At the end of the day, there's no time that is too early or too late to start looking for scholarships. And there's no scholarships that are too large or too small to get. There are scholarships available to 8th graders as well as college seniors. You just have to find them. It does not matter how large or small the scholarship is. At the end of the day, it could be $100,000 or $100. A $100 scholarship is a textbook you no longer have to purchase using your own money. There are so many scholarships out there that no one applies for. Talk to your local volunteer fire department, your town hall, your school district, your parents' trade union, the local library, and literally any group, organization, or business that you belong to. Relying on your jazz saxophone skills or a judo black belt to be your ticket to a free education is like playing the lottery. For every one story that you hear of somebody getting a full ride to Harvard because Harvard desperately needed a trumpet player for their marching band, and your cousin's friend happened to play the trumpet, and now he goes to Harvard for free. There are 1,000 students with $100 million in student loan debt between them. I'll say that again. 1,000 students, 1,000 students, collectively owe upwards of $100 million in loans every year. When you compare that to the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of students in the U.S. going to college every single year, that's incredible. The amount of money that is owed in loans every year by students is incomprehensible. So please load yourself with as many scholarships as possible. Relying on one massive presidential scholarship from your college will rarely be enough to pay for your tuition, your room, and your board for all 4 years. I've already made a video talking about how it's a really bad idea to pick a school just based on what scholarships they give you or how much the school costs. There's a card here where you can go look at that. Even if you get a full ride to a school, you'll still be responsible for paying for your textbooks, library fees, laboratory fees if you're a science major, a new laptop when yours eventually dies, because they'll always die within 4 years and you're going to go to college for 4 years, and a variety of other nickel and dime fees that the college will ask for. Go get as many scholarships as possible to cover all of these fees. Take the time to write 100 scholarship essays. If each essay takes you an hour to write, because after a while they're going to start to sound repetitive because a lot of these scholarships ask you the same exact question, it may cost you 4 days of your life in total, 96 hours, and you may only get 10 scholarships, totaling like 10 grand. It may not cover all of your school expenses. It may not even cover all of your fees. However, it can mean the difference between paying your loans back in 10 years versus 30. Don't let FOMO in your present be responsible for actually missing out on things for the next 20 years of your life. Take 4 days. Take one vacation. Take an entire week during your summer right now and just pump out essays and start applying. It'll save you in the future. I guarantee you. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. It really does help us out. If you want to get more hands-on attention from either myself or one of the other counselors here at Let's Go to College, you can find a link to our website below, and you can schedule a free consultation there. If you want to check out the How Do I Get That Job podcast, we release videos and podcasts every Wednesday, every week, until people decide to stop talking to me.